Okay, hopefully this is working. Let's check and see. Come on now.
I have to do that. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area.
That'll be useful.
You can use that to take out their vehicles or anti-air guns. But you'll be broadcasting your positions
That
to
won't,
the
but
If you're
whatever.
gonna use it, be ready.
The more the merrier.
What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
This one I have to do again just to get the fastest thing.
Keep low. You can check the controls on the dawn screen.
Are you kidding me? All right. Shut off that feedback loop. Oh boy.
This is an infiltration. You've got to stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area. You can use that to take out their vehicles or anti-air guns. You'll be broadcasting your position to the whole base. If you're getting it.
Really? It's him?
To climb an obstacle, press the action button.
Wow. So because this is live, I just go ahead and listen to the recordings the day, well, the playbacks or whatever the day after I record them. And this mic quality is really fucking terrible. So I was just looking around. I have a Turtle Beach headset somewhere. I don't know whether or not it's like compatible or whatever. Isn't there supposed to be like some kind of a? Isn't there supposed to be some kind of a like headset that like plugs into the PS3 controller? I guess it doesn't matter so much that I have to restart the mission, but whatever. But I thought that like there's like some kind of a headset that's supposed to plug directly into the controller. And a while back, I was thinking about doing precisely, well, I was thinking about starting recording. And I think I was thinking about that whenever I was purchasing the damn PS5 itself. So I think that's whenever I picked up the Turtle Beach headset.
What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
Is there like consequences for that action? Anywhere?
To climb an obstacle, press the action button.
So there must have been a reason that I wasn't using the Turtle Beach headset. So is that reason because it wasn't working? Because I know that I hate headsets.
Now head east to the old prison area.
But I have to hate this audio quality more. This audio quality is terrible. Half the time I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And I recorded like 2.5 games with this terrible audio. And you're still here, my dear sweet viewer.
If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster. You should move the bodies hopefully somewhere out of sight.
One disappeared, didn't it? So I was looking around trying to solve this problem, and I did find a Turtle Beach in-ear headphone set. So that might work like gangbusters, I don't know. It's like $10 on Amazon. And I would get that just for you. Just for you, dear viewer.
Pack enough power to destroy their anti-air defenses or vehicles.
It's very useful for our mission, which is to save Chico and Paz.
That range just won't let up. It'll help you stay out of sight, but watch you don't get hypothermia.
Yeah, that's not a silencer. Or suppressor. Whenever I reload, whenever it's already got a full magazine or clip or clipazine, whenever I do that, what Big Boss is doing
Take a good look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark him. Marked enemies can be
is putting an additional round
between you and them.
in the chamber.
If you stop and take the time to focus your attention, this helps you maintain situational awareness. Try it.
So like the old Beretta M92F handgun, service pistol, at the time that I was in active duty military service. That gun, that pistol has, I think a magazine capacity of like 15 rounds, something like that. So 15 bullets can fit into in the gun that you eject whenever there's no more bullets left. And then you can replace it with another magazine or clipazine. This one's got a suppressor. Yes, it does. Okay. Start taking out some of these fucking lights. It's too bright in this base, dog. Shit.
Prisoner, you gonna help him? If you want to extract him, carry him to the RV and call in the chopper.
Just to save my ass. Alright. This'll help.
I understand the terminology, and I do not fucking care. But whatever. You can put 15 bullets in there. They're called rounds. But then you can put an additional bullet inside the barrel of the gun itself. And that makes it ready to fire. Whenever you see people like pumping a shotgun or pulling the charging handle back, not charging handle, what am I thinking of? The thingamajig on the top of a pistol. Like, don't make fun of me, all right? I left active duty in 2011. It is 2023. The slide. Whenever somebody pulls the slide back on a pistol, and or even whenever somebody like pumps a shotgun, what they're doing is taking a bullet from the chamber and putting it in the barrel of the gun. So every time that Snake reloads, whenever he's already got a full magazine, that's what he's doing. Something that probably all of you already figured out. But whatever.
Okay, target is in.
So that's a full magazine. And he puts an additional one into the chamber. Where's the chopper? And it flies. No wonder. I can see the guy try to swing the damn light around. Morpho comes in one direction, he fucks it up on the exit. Sick of these lights. I can't take out every light in this damn base. Shit's ridiculous. What you doing, kitty cat? You done being mad at me? Are you done being mad at me, kitty? You done being mad at me, kitty cat? My cat's over here trying to be friendly with me. But earlier he was just full of claws and everything else. Alright, that feels like something, kitty cat. Oh, It feels like a big old thing. You're important, dear viewer, but my cat is much more important. Is that just a sore, kitty? Okay. That was just a sore.
Spit it out.
Has been updated.
Yeah, I'll look for ticks on my cat. He's got a flea and tick collar on, but they'll still get on him. Sometimes they'll die, and sometimes they'll hang on to him very loosely. Or just like never make purchase. They'll just like crawl around on him. But man, he hates it whenever I'm looking for ticks on him. All little spots that they like to be, you know, whenever they're on his face. Oh, nothing like that. Looking around on his face. So I start looking for him on his face. He starts growling at me.
Find some cover and stick to it.
I'm on it.
Good stuff. Then I'll look on his belly and be growling at me. He might lose his temper, start scratching me. That's bad stuff. And don't say, just declaw your cat. If you declaw your cat, you're a monster. Cats should not be dependent on you. You shouldn't be, like, deciding whether or not your cat lives or dies.
Spit it out.
Your cat should have a methodology of defending itself in an emergency. Taking that away from him is a monstrous act, in my opinion. So this guy's glitching out. That's cool. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? You spot me through the wall? Every now and again, they will spot you through the wall.
Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
Y'all, I've got all day. It doesn't matter how many checkpoints I use.
Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
This is for fastest completion and sell to chopper. I can keep retrying on checkpoints.
Those tranquilizer rounds will only go for putting your target to sleep. They won't help you break anything.
Miller, what precisely do you think I'm trying to break? Oh, there we go.
You're way too exposed there. Find some cover and stick to it.
Yeah, sorry, I was salty as fuck yesterday. Like I began to explain, the dentist told me that I grind my teeth in my sleep. I had no idea. He was like, yeah, you're probably going to need a mouth guard. Like a special nighttime mouth guard to prevent you from grinding your teeth. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll just call Veterans Affairs and see if I could be prescribed one and get one for free. And then I got an email from my doctor that was like, hey, that's for veterans with a certain disability percentage, and you don't have that disability percentage because you're rated 0%. It's like, great. So I had to stop by Walgreens on the way home from the plasma donation place and then purchase one of these nighttime mouth guard things. So, like, as I was purchasing it, it said, like, disposable, like, throw them away every 3 days. And so, as I was, like, looking at the price and calculating how often I have to buy it, I realized I was, like, calculating the cost for continuing to have teeth. I was like, fantastic, this is the fucking cost of my mouth remaining the way that it is right now. This is my having teeth rent that I have to pay every month for the rest of my friggin' life. And don't get me started on my service-connected disability in the first place. Being rated 0% is already a treat. Just imagine being prescribed the strongest possible antidepressants on planet Earth. And, like, still being told, like, you're 0% disabled. Just imagine going through the entirety of Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps, passing all of their requirements, bar none, only to be told at the end of that process that you are too crazy to be an Army officer, and simultaneously having them tell you, oh, you're not just too crazy to be an Army officer, but also we believe that you knew you were crazy. That was their thing. They thought that I lied on my application, and that I knew that I was nuts, that I knew that I was crazy, and I just wanted to be depressed. That I would rather be sad and in ROTC than be not sad and not have to do a bunch of extra shit while I was in college. That was the conclusion that they came to. Because anyone that works in administration, like, they have to have their brain removed.
Spit it out.
So that was their grand conclusion. That's what they fucking wrote down on paper. Hook, line, and sinker. Without any exaggeration. And because they thought I lied on my application, they said that I had to pay back my tuition. Not in a payment plan or anything. They gave me 30 days to give them back $19,000. A friend of mine that I had at the time was just like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "What do you mean, what am I going to do? I don't have $19,000. He's like, "Yeah, well, what are you going to do?" So, like, "I don't have it, so I'm not going to pay." It's like, it's not like I have an option to pay. What do you mean, what are you going to do? Oh, I know what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sell a kidney on the black market or some shit. $19,000. I can make that lickety split. Let me just double down in the stock market a couple times. Let me head down to the penny slots at the local casino, and I'll have $19,000 before the end of the day. Like, you gave me 30 days to pay you $19,000. I don't fucking have $19,000. So, of course, as far as I know, that debt is like regular debt. It's just like owing a credit card company or something. So since that shit happened in 2017, I believe like that's already like that's over with. I think I reached the statute of limitations on that and had that debt discharged. In fact, if it is regular debt, then that's precisely what happened. Because my buddy asked me about that a little later. I should say my former buddy. He decided to kick me to the curb. Don't really know why. You ever tell somebody that like, you know, you found out some things in therapy and then they tell you like a story about their life later on and you're like, wow, like that's something that my therapist could probably really help you with, and so they block you on social media? That's kind of what happened. And they would never call you a crazy person to your face, but if you tell them that they would benefit from therapy, then obviously that's an insult, because if there's anything that they aren't, they aren't anything like your crazy ass. And if you tell them to prove it by going to therapy, because you can just go to a therapist, describe to them all the problems that you have, and they can tell you whether or not that's normal. And they could say, you don't need therapy, and then you could just leave. That's one of your options. There's plenty of free therapy places. You don't have to tell them, I don't need therapy. They can tell you whether or not you need therapy. It's like, you can prove it. You can prove that you don't need therapy. From the horse's mouth. You can get that information from the therapist. And you can do it for free. But whatever, you know. It was okay for me to go to the therapist, but the moment I say, like, hey, you might benefit from my therapist too, boom, they like block you on social media. Change their locks. Put you on the no-call list. Delete your fingerprints. Change their Netflix password, move to another country. Anyways. Alright, I think one of these gentlemen disappeared. They're dead. I can smell it. Demo. I would prefer it if you would rematerialize. Pretty pleased with cheese on top. This is fucking aggravating. This is the draw distance on the PS5. I'm having trouble with the game and its draw distance on the PS5. The PS5, which continues to sell for a low, low price of your fucking soul. That is the cost for a PS5. One human soul. That's whenever it's on sale.
I've marked Mgsv on your map. You need to get to that.
Anyways. Forgot about them too. Anyways, they simultaneously told me three things. One, you're too crazy to be an army officer specifically. Two, you owe me $19,000. That was the second thing that they simultaneously told me. Three, you can pay off that $19,000 by serving in the Army Enlisted Corps for a year. So I want to be very fucking specific for this. I want you to know precisely what occurred, and even sort of in what order. The third thing that they also simultaneously told me was that we will let you be an officer for the United States Army.
You need to carry past that.
We will let you be an officer for the United States Army, and the only thing that you have to do is get a master's degree in social work, and we'll bring you back as a social worker. Or you can get a master's degree in psychology, and we'll pay you to get a PhD in psychology, and we'll bring you back as a Army psychologist. Those were the two AMED possibilities. And there was also the normal AMED possibility, which was, you know, them paying you to go to medical school. So they told me all of these things simultaneously. So I'm not too crazy to be in the Army. They were very fucking specific about that. I could have been Army active duty, and after my year is up, I could have like re-enlisted. But they wanted me to pay back that $19,000 by first admitting something that wasn't true. They wanted me to sign a document that says that that what I put on the application regarding my mental health was not true. And I refused to sign, because why would anyone on God's green earth rather be depressed and have a miserable life? Oh, I just fucking love the Army so much that I'd rather be miserable for the rest of my God-forsaken existence. That makes perfect sense. Let me sign on the dotted line here.
Use a flare grenade to help control your current position. Just don't forget you might create danger of being shot down.
I know there's a save point over here. That's bullshit. So in the phantom pain, you can toss bodies, and that knocks people out. But I'm not playing the phantom pain. I'm playing Ground Zeroes. So I did the right series of actions. It just wasn't in the right game. So imagine like fulfilling 100% of a job's requirements, and it takes you more than 3 years to do so. And after all that, they tell you that while you met all the requirements, there's one hidden requirement that they had yet to prove. I still had not been diagnosed with anything. But they still believed in their heart of hearts that I was not just mentally ill, but I knew that I was mentally ill. And therefore, I owed them $19,000. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that the statute of limitations for that debt has come and gone. So that's cool. You know what's even weirder? That, like, enlisted recruiters in the Army will tell you that you cannot have clinical depression and be in the Army at all. They don't say, like, oh, you can have it as long as you're enlisted and you're not an officer. So, like, simultaneously, like, they're telling me all of these things all at once, and it makes no fucking sense. All of these conflicting pieces of information all at the same time. And the fact that it makes no sense doesn't come into their mind even once. Like I said, in order to do administrative work, you have to, like, remove your fucking brain. Who is this motherfucker? Where did this motherfucker come from? So that was the pause to chopper record that I just set. And now I gotta set the fastest hard mission. Oh boy. I can't think about these things. They like fucking shoot up my blood rate, shoot up my fucking blood pressure because of how aggravating this crap is. And it just fucking never stops. Like I used to get pissed off about little things. Here's a little thing that I got pissed off about. Whenever I took the GED, whenever I took the General Education Diploma, Illinois at the time was giving out a $500 scholarship to the local community college if you scored high enough on the GED. And the score that you had to get was a 3,000 or higher.
That's a searchlight. That should be perfect for searching targets.
And whenever I got my test results back, everything passed. You can retake any session that you didn't pass. Any section that you did not pass, you can retake only that section if you wish. Well, I passed all of my sections, which means if I wanted to retake the test, I was going to have to retake the entire test. So that meant I was going to have to pay the $50 fee to take my general education diploma, like the whole kit and caboodle. So since I passed every section, I would have had to take the entire 8-hour exam one more time. But I had scored high enough to pass the entire test and every section. However, my total score was a 2990, 2,990. $2,990, and I needed a $3,000 for that scholarship. I was so mad. You know what my lowest score was in? Writing, which is now considered my strong suit. It was considered my strong suit then. But they decided on a whim that they were going to score my free writing assignment lower than all of the other sections, just because they didn't want to give me the $500 scholarship. They didn't want to give me a fucking coupon to the local community college. And that is a tiny injustice compared to the backstabbery that I experienced as part of Army ROTC. And like the weirdest thing is, I still don't hate the Army or ROTC as an institution or any of it. That's one of the things that, paperwork does to you. Paperwork and bureaucracy make it a system where, like, you can't even see the person that messed this up. You can't even see the person that didn't dot an I or cross a T. And that's why, like, your complete life was turned upside down. You just get the paperwork from some nameless, faceless organization, and you don't even know who to be mad to. You don't know where the complaints department is. You have no power to change it in any way, shape, or form. It's just ridiculous. It's just black and white showing you that your entire future has been absolutely destroyed. Maybe I'm just like a forgiving guy, because my ex-wife put me in $75,000 of debt. Then she took absolutely everything that she could. Told everybody that I was a bad guy. And I had to get, like, actual medical documents saying the opposite. And even then, because she said that I was mean to her, they booted me off of every base in America, well, every base in the world. Every U.S. military base, at least, and that was one of my veteran benefits. So that's one of my veteran benefits gone, because my ex-wife didn't want to go to therapy. And I'm still not mad at her. Maybe I'm just a forgiving guy. I always told her, and I told her, and I told my therapist, I said the same thing. I said, I can't be mad at a sick person. It's like asking someone if you're mad at someone because they gave you, COVID or something. Which I caught COVID during the pandemic, so, it's like being mad at somebody because they gave you COVID. Yeah, I was keeping to myself. I was staying in, one small location. I wasn't doing much of anything during the pandemic. But my grandparents were like going to fast food places and stuff like that. And they weren't dying in, but they were still like coming in contact with people, all because they were hungry. So they're 100% the ones that gave me COVID. But I'm not going to be mad at them. I'm not going to be mad at anybody because they're sick. But at least with everything that happened with ROTC, it's more of the same. I'm just told by a nameless, faceless organization that I'm too crazy to be an Army officer, while at the same time they're busy telling me that I also was a cadet, so denying me a commission does not count as a refusal. It doesn't count as a medical discharge. Therefore, I don't get any disability or retirement or anything. And also, I'm not good enough to come back with a better degree. And also this, all at the same time. So I can be mad at the bureaucracy and whatever paperwork people decided to talk out of both sides of their mouth at the same time at me. I can do all that. But I can't be mad at these individual people just because they're sick. Even if they put me in a world of pain for a very long time. It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. But whatever. Give somebody the strongest possible dose of antidepressants, meaning that they have the worst, meaning that they have the worst depression, major depressive disorder that human beings are allowed to have before you explode or something, before you collapse in on yourself in a depressive black hole. So they give me the maximum possible dose, and they give me the maximum possible dose of adult ADHD medication, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and they give me hydroxyzine for generalized anxiety disorder, and lisinopril and atorvastatin for high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And these things were prescribed to me right after they were prescribed me towards the tail end of 2017, as I was being denied a commission from the from Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. So they were prescribing all these things to me, like, while I was pretty much in peak military condition. So it's not like I wasn't taking care of myself. Obviously I was. I was trying to do as best as I possibly could with whatever resources that I had, which was, increasingly smaller amounts, because 2017 is also whenever my ex-wife began the divorce proceedings for me. So you can say that, if you would have tried harder, then you wouldn't have had all of these different, illnesses. No kill stealth and no weapons used. That's gonna be a hell of a thing. No kill stealth and no weapons used. If I do them both separately, then that'll be a lot easier. So I just go through that again for no kill stealth. And then go through it a third time for no weapons used. Or a fourth time now. That'll be easy. Easier, at least. Total kill 0. But I guess I'll try for both. That'll be a hell of a thing. It'll be really tough. Well, I'm spotted. In the first area, I'm spotted whenever I run. So if I jog, maybe I won't be spotted as quickly. And if I crouch walk, then hopefully I definitely won't get spotted. I don't know.
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area.
So if I sprint like this,
You can check the
then this guy spots me.
To climb This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area. If you ready your weapon while crawling, you can move horizontally. To climb an obstacle, press the action button.
Okay. And the guy with the spotlight can't see me, so all is good in this neighborhood. I guess because they almost spotted me, that terminated their conversation. Okay.
Going to eliminate him. Use a gun. What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
Damn it, Steak. When I'm trying to crawl, Snake doesn't want to crawl because he's at the edge of the ledge. The edge of a ledge. Okay.
You've got to stay out of sight.
Okay, well, now he's going the opposite direction. Whatever.
Contact me if you need advice.
If you can't tell, I'm kind of trying to do both at once. No stealth, no kill, no weapons. Or stealth, no kill, no weapons.
Take a good look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark him. Marked enemies can be sensed when nearby, even if there's a wall between you and them. But it only works if you stop and take the time to focus your attention. This helps you maintain situational awareness.
He decided that he didn't see me. Really? So for stealth, it can't even be something that you fix in reflex. That's gonna be tough. I guess it's easier if you just, like, you know, look at people from like a million miles away.
Look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark him. Marked enemies can be sensed when nearby, even if there's a wall between you and them. But it only works if you stop.
So if you just tranquilize people from about a million miles away, then maybe that's a little bit easier. Where's the two guys that walked through this camp at this point in time? They're over there. Okay. I asked a question, I got an answer. Ugh. Great, googly, fucking moogly, dude. I can't win for losing out here. Shit. Please tell me he's going towards his left. Nope, he's not. You gotta be kidding me.
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stop.
Okay.
You'll find the targets there. Contact me if you need advice. Take a good look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark him. Marked enemies can be sensed when nearby, even if there's a wall between you and them. But it only works if you stop and take the time to focus your attention. This helps you maintain situational awareness. Try it.
There's Tweedledee, and where's Tweedledum? There's Tweedledum. You know it was really hard to get through? Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us was tough to get through. Because at first, like, it's intriguing. It's a new spin, or a more mature spin on old, like, fairy tales. Is it Akibado? Alright, he can't see me, can he? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Alright. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay, okay. Save point? Yeah. So there's a guy in there somewhere, depending on the draw distance. Oh no. Oh no. I gotta redo the whole mission. Because the guy in the West refugee camp. Because that guy's gonna die if I don't pay him some kind of attention pretty much as soon as possible.
Mission's info
Okay,
This is an infiltration mission.
let me check something.
Before you go any further, use your...
Fascist comp, no weapons used. Okay. And starting over from the checkpoint resets that, right? Yes, it does. Okay. So, did you see that? According to the game, whipping out the gun and aiming it is not using the weapon. Shooting it is using the weapon. See, they're very specific.
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area. Left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster. To climb an obstacle, press the action button. What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
Those ain't no jarhead birds, I can tell you that. Some paramilitary setup?
Some of the guys are saying, you know what? That's me.
There's a guard up there. If you're going to eliminate him, use a gun.
So that is not using a weapon.
Now head east to the old prison area. You can bring up the target's
That's not
location
using a
on your
weapon.
radar.
Don't get tunnel vision, Marine. Hell yeah.
Take a good look at the enemy through your binoculars, and you can mark him. Marked enemies can be sensitive.
Hell yes.
Even if there's a wall between
Hell
them.
yes.
But it only works if you stop and take the time to focus your attention. This helps you maintain situational awareness.
This is gonna be tough. Well, maybe not.
If you need advice. The rain was coming down just as hard the day we met Boss. I only want peace for my country. I can't believe we ever bought that cover story.
But you didn't. You didn't buy that cover story. You said you knew who they really were the whole time. He's talking about the events of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, by the way. The girl that we rescue in this mission, her name is Paz.
Effective for dealing with nearby enemies.
She, it's like in her 20s, but she pretended to be a 14-year-old.
If you want to extract him, carry him to the RV and call in the
She looks like she's young, right? But she was an enemy spy.
Guessing you didn't come here just to save my ass, right? This'll help. Whatever you're doing.
Hell yes.
Go inside the empty building.
So this is also a, whatchamacallit, it's a,
controls on the pause screen.
Please select a landing zone confirmed.
this is also a,
West. It's headed your way now.
a save point. So this cliff is also a save point right through that gate. I was gonna say this could be a rally point, but I don't know. How am I gonna get past? Well, I can use the drainage channel just like he suggested. So as long as I crawl through the airfield, and you know what? I'm still going to have to rescue Paz before Chico. Because if I rescue Chico before Paz, I think that brings out the, whatchamacallit, I think if you rescue Chico, it brings out the armored vehicle that starts patrolling. So if I don't rescue Paz first, I'm going to have to, like, get all the way to and from Paz with that thing following me. I could be wrong. It could be rescuing Paz that triggers it, but I know you have to deal with it one way or the other.
Okay, target is in.
If you rescue one before the other. This guy is nowhere near my flight path here, but taking him out is better than leaving him where he is.
This won't let up. It'll help you stay out of sight, but watch you don't get hypothermia.
You can't get hypothermia. In Metal Gear Solid 2, you could get a cold. In Metal Gear Solid 3, you could get a cold. In Metal Gear Solid 4, you could die of old age. Pretty much. I still think the best approach would be through the right side. Yeah, this is going to be the best way to get from hither to thither. Where's the two guys? Did they already move? They might be on their way up yonder. Back behind me? You know what I mean? You remember the two guys that got together and they asked where the prisoner that escaped is? You remember that from my last run? The guy who drives this truck does not wear a rain poncho. So is that guy with the rain poncho over there? Is he the guy that's supposed to be here? he is facing my direction, isn't he? Yes, he is. Okay. Oh, and there's some chuckle nuts that's inside the gate as well. So that makes things a lot easier. I'm gonna have a cheery
That's the old
time.
The targets are there.
Oh, okay. This works.
Spit it out.
Boss, we've been in touch with Amanda. We had her listen to Chico's call for help. She agrees with us. She said, I know my brother and I know when he's lying. She also had a message for you. I'm ready for the worst. Sounded a little too cheerful to me.
Let me get from here to there. There we go, boys.
Eyes open, boss.
No thanks, Miller. I think I'm going to keep my eyes closed. I'm just going to feel the road like Ricky Bobby. No! Oh, that sucks. I think you can get total stealth even while using reflex in the Phantom Pain.
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
But we're not playing the Phantom Pain. We're playing Ground Zeroes. Wow. Snake encountered a rock, so he decided to stand up. Can't crawl over rocks, don't you know that? Next time you head through the Army obstacle course, just remember that. You encounter a rock, you gotta stand straight up. Maybe even do a dance, do a little jig. Great fucking googly moogly. Alright, let me...
My cover is blown.
That's the old prison area. The targets are there.
Incredible. That was two incredible things, all at once. Okay,
This
so...
is an infiltration mission. You've got to stay out of sight. Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
I don't know if we heard the last one of these.
My cover is blown. They know nothing of Cypher or my true objective, but they know I am a spy. There is no more time left. I must act now. I must complete my mission. How did it come to this? All I wanted was 3 more days. Just 3. Miller's already finished writing the song. It is called Love Deterrent. It is about a girl who cannot express her true feelings. I have been practicing. Cypher found out that Zeke was complete. He must have someone inside Mother Base besides me. spinning his tightly wound web of control, leaving no room for individual will. Typical. When they found out Zeke was complete, I was ordered to execute the operation immediately. If I was going to enjoy just one day of peace, I had to ensure the plan could not move forward.
Well, now my PS5 thinks two people are watching.
I thought by damaging the drive system, they would have no choice but to delay their plans.
Like a lizard on a rock.
Midnight, and then snuck into the hangar.
Makes sense, because,
There would
you
be
know,
trouble if it looked like sabotage.
it's codenamed Snake.
I selected one of the drive system's load-bearing parts and carefully worked to warp its shape. The leg's drive system requires a high degree of precision to operate. Even the smallest deviation would have done it. Then, Chico walked in. Maybe it was one of those nights where he could not sleep. In any case, he saw me, panicked, and took off running. It would have been easy to kill him, but I could not. I know he It is not as if I would ever have an interest in a child like him.
He's still after me.
But I could not pull the trigger. Not at him. Not at
Yep. Fantastic. What a lovely day.
This is an infiltration mission. You've got to
What
stay
a
on site.
lovely day.
Head for the old prison. You'll find the targets there.
Oh,
Development on the bipedal weapon.
there we go. Somewhere around here, maybe?
Delay their plans. I waited until midnight, and then snuck in.
Shut up, Warber.
There would be trouble if it looked like sabotage. I selected one of the drive system's load-bearing parts and carefully worked to warp its shape. The leg's drive system requires a high degree of precision to operate. Even the smallest deviation.
If you're watching the YouTube video in the future,
maybe it was one
of my
those nights
old
where
friends, Warber, is in the chat.
he saw me, panicked, and took off running. It would have been
He's here
easy
with
to
all of the other thousands and thousands of people in the chat,
I know he
so
likes
don't be alarmed.
It is not as if I would ever have an interest in a child like him. But I could not pull the trigger. Not at him. Not in the back. Will he tell them? Or is there a chance he will keep it a secret? Protect me? No. He knows now. Knows I am not who he thought I was. He ran.
Warber had the he had the privilege of playing Metal Gear Solid 4.
This is an infiltration.
Warber here played Metal Gear Solid 4
Head for the old prison. You'll find
as
the
his
targets
first
there.
ever Metal Gear game. So clap for him, ladies and gentlemen. He big bossed. He got the big boss emblem from Metal Gear Solid 4 before he played any other Metal Gear game. You know how possibly like confusing that had to be? Oh, he says he played, at some point in time, he played Metal Gear Solid 1. Still, it had to be like, what the hell is going on? Just for like all 99 hours. All 999 hours of cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4. This man had to be very confused. And not just confused, but also like hot and sweaty and ridiculous.
That's the old prison area.
Because he was in Bahrain whenever he did it. Well, okay. You don't play it for the story, but I do.
Boss, we've been in
Like,
touch with Amanda. We had her listen to Chico.
in Metal Gear Solid 4, whenever Johnny was taking a shit in the barrel, that inspired me to be the best person that I can be. That changed my life. I mean, like, the, I ended up joining the military because of Metal Gear Solid 3. Because of the boss. Because I wanted to be a hero like her. And I've said this in a previous recording, like, there's, like, on a previous recording, I mentioned the fact that, that the Metal Gear series is a anti-war game series.
Eyes open, boss.
But whenever you have any kind of combat, like, it's going to, people are going to join the military. And like I said, Full Metal Jacket was an anti-war movie as well. And everybody in the military is constantly quoting Full Metal Jacket. David Hayter was talking about it. David Hayter is the old voice actor for Solid Snake, and
That's it.
he was saying, like, people come up to him at, like, conventions and they're like, "Hey, I joined the military because of you, dude." He's like, "Don't do that." It's like, "Please don't do that just for me." And his hyper gravelly voice. That's his anus.
Hands up. Get down.
That's his anus.
Hands up. Lie down. Get down.
It's Hater with a T. He's done other acting roles, but, like, no one, I don't know anybody that's watched a David Hayter film. Apparently he usually plays the bad guy. Really? I didn't know he was Spike Spiegel. Kind of fits. Oh. God, you know,
What do you plan on doing?
so I have to fucking tell, I have to tell somebody about this, alright? So I watched a Billiam video, some guy named Billiam on YouTube, and he reviewed all the different free streaming services, and so I went ahead and I downloaded them all, and I decided to start, you know, watching whatever. And on Freebie, I found fucking Kite. Like, Kite, the hentai. Like, they made it into a live-action movie and no one fucking told me. They did that in 2014. I've never heard a single thing about it at all. So, it's got, like, Samuel L. Jackson in it, and I was just like, who the fuck, you know, took what amount of money to do this? Like, the whole time I'm, like, trying to watch this live-action fucking hentai, and I'm like, who did this? I don't know, there's somebody else that did Spike. And so I was like, who the hell did this? And I found out that whenever Samuel L. Jackson had that shit post where he was like, I like anime and hentai too, apparently he wasn't fucking around. Because he was like one of the first people on the project to do a live action Kite. It's the most ridiculous thing. Of course, they removed all the nudity, period, in the live action thing. And also, on top of that, they removed the sexual thing that that was going on between the main character and the father figure, which was played by Samuel L. Jackson. And they removed the downer ending. And I remembered all of that. I remembered all of that because Like, people hated the downer ending on Kite. They were just like, oh my god, that, there's such a downer ending. And I'm like, but you love Cowboy Bebop? How is Cowboy Bebop not a fucking downer ending to you? Anyways, it turns out that libraries will let you borrow hotspots. They'll let you borrow internet fucking hotspots. So I found out that my library, of course, there's a library that'll do anything. There's a library that'll probably let you check out a person and then just like borrow an indentured servant for free for a little while. So like, because there's libraries that will let you borrow seeds, and once they sprout and grow, then you'll just give them back the seeds from your sprouted plant. So I did a quick search, and I found out that my library was doing the hotspot thing, so I went ahead and I borrowed a hotspot. And it just turns out that the library's hotspot is 6 fucking times faster than my home internet. The American taxpayer is paying good money to pay for my internet bill for me for the Affordable Connectivity Program, and yet the local library has a hotspot 6 times faster. I've never seen a console at the library for borrowing, but if you search through the library's list of games, they absolutely have PS5 games. Relatively recent releases. Yeah, of course.
Arriving shortly at LZ.
I wonder if, like, now that Elon Musk owns Twitter, can he only, like, can he still give, like, speeches, or can he just, like, do, like, the half a paragraph thing that the Twitter makes you do? One of those restrictions.
Okay, target is in. Target's inside. Is that it?
Adam Conover, the old, whatchamacallit guy.
He's coming too.
The guy that did Adam Ruins Everything. They gave him a platform sort of thing, and no, they're not going to do anything. Kojima's left Konami. They're not fucking doing anything with anything anymore. They're not going to do an anything remake. It's all pachinko machines. You know that. I know that. But Warber, ladies and gentlemen, is a big lover of Japan. He loves Japan to death. Warber probably owns 3 pachinko machines at home with him right now. He's got his samurai swords right next to his pachinko machines. Just loves that stuff. No, it's not. America has paper money. Japan has money that falls out of your pockets. Because everything below $10 is all coins. The shit was hot garbage. They folded over their steel because they had useless pig iron. It's not their fault. They're a series of islands. Still. Good God. Okay. Alright. Great. Oh boy. This guy's supposed to be gone already. He's supposed to get into his truck and fuck off. That's something that you can figure out. It's like anything else. If you're enough of a caveman, you figure out like one sheet of paper is not as strong as two sheets of paper, so you just start folding. So it doesn't really matter who started it. I was telling my grandfather about that today. He apparently got invited to a cruise, and I was like, I've never been on a cruise my entire life. And he was like, yeah, me neither. He's like, yeah, I'm probably not going to go. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't go. I said, well, I did take that ferry. Ugh. I took a ferry from Korea to Japan in 2009. And I took this ferry. It was an overnight ferry, and I took that ferry because it was $90. And there was another ferry called the Beetle, which cost $100 or $110 at the time. And so I saved $20. But the one that I took, the $90 one at the time, was it was because I saved that $20 because it was an overnight or whatever, and so like, but it landed in Fukuoka, which I'm like, I know that there's like a couple of things that Fukuoka is famous for, but I was headed towards Tokyo. I had a reservation of the Nusano Hotel, so you know it was I landed out there in Fukuoka. Jesus Christ. And then like there was this Canadian dude that I was avoiding the entire time. Here's the thing about being an expatriate to another country, is whenever you're an expatriate in another country, and like there's like you're the other person that knows English, you'll be stuck talking with them. Even if all they want to do is like talk about Bleach the anime or something. Like, so there's this Canadian guy that I was just sitting there avoiding the entire time. I'm in this overnight ferry. And then like once I got out, because he was like a computer guy and I was the opposite of that. And finally, we get off the ferry in Fukuoka, and I'm like, and I follow him, and I track him down, and I'm like, hey, what subway do I get on in order to get to Tokyo? He's like, what fucking subway? He's like, Tokyo's on another island. He's like, you gotta take the bullet train. So I had to like go upstairs, take the bullet train, and it cost me $500 for the ticket. So I saved $20 by using one ferry instead of the other, and then immediately spent $500. So that's the number of brain cells that I have. -3. And still, like, my brothers and plenty of other people will be insistent. They'll be insistent that I'm super smart, and that's why I have a bachelor's degree. It's ridiculous. So then I was just like, okay, I'll be in Tokyo and lickety-split. The bullet train is the fastest form of public transportation known to man. And then it took me 8 fucking hours to get from Fukuoka to Tokyo because they have to stop every like 20 minutes for every tiny prefecture in Japan. And they have to like be stopped for like 5 minutes each. It was like it was rocket boosted to go from like one prefecture to the next. But once you went from one prefecture to the next, you had to like stop for 5 minutes. It's like, damn it. hate this camera. I don't know if I said this in a previous recording, but I purchased the game Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I purchased it like 11 fucking times. I purchased it so many times. First it came out in like 2015, right? So I purchased it then, and I've already purchased Ground Zeroes. It's 2 games. 2 games that describe the game Metal Gear Solid V. And those 2 games happen to be, number 1, Ground Zeroes, and number 2, Phantom Pain. So, 2014, I buy this game. 2015, I buy the Phantom Pain. And after all that was said and done, son of a bitch. After all that was said and done, then that was on the PlayStation 3. How is that? You can only hold up enemies if you're within 1 meter of their location on a Wednesday in June, as long as you're holding the action button,
You'll find the targets there.
and only if you've recently listened to the Kevin Costner cover band. Kevin Costner has a music band. You have to live with that knowledge now. It's in your head forever. And I might relabel my test footage as like ASMR, because I was talking the entire time. For 2 fucking hours, I was talking over the gameplay footage. But this is actually something very specific that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Where's that recording?
Trying to save as many men as humanly possible. It used to be an obsessive thing because of, you know, severe untreated mental illness. But now, it's arguably not that. There's a lot of obsessive stuff that comes out of being in the military in particular. There's this survivor's guilt and stuff like that. And even military officers, I would say, especially military officers, suffer from this thing where, of course, they're going to blame themselves for anything bad that happens to their men. If they're a good officer. So, I had another buddy in the Land Before Time. Oh, great. Fantastic. I had another friend in the Land Before Time. You know what? I might be able to...
You've got to stay out of sight. Head for the old prison.
That's fucking ridiculous. But I'm too close to my other requirement. They, for a little while, they had the age range for enlisted. That age range was raised to 39 in the Navy. And so I passed the 35 mark in the Army, but it was 39 with the Navy. But they're not going to let me in with all of my, they're not going to let me in with all of the stuff wrong with my head. But like I said, I'm too close to my other requirement.
Where's that recording?
I've talked to the recruiters and everything, and they said like the same shit. Like, major depressive disorder, any anxiety disorder, all of it's no bueno for enlisted. But like I said, you can do whatever the hell you want with whatever the hell is wrong with you, as long as you're important enough. So all you have to do is become important enough. And that's a relatively simple thing to do. Just go to college and don't stop until you run out of college. That's all. Huh. Well, they changed my rank in D-bids to E6 while I was in senior ROTC. And I finished all of my officer training, senior reserve officer training corps, passing every single requirement. So I did all of that. So I'm more than qualified to be an O1.
You should move the bodies of enemies somewhere out of sight.
And if I get into the Uniform Services University Healthcare the Uniform Services University of Healthcare Sciences, the first day, the day that I go to that the day that I enter that university is the day that they give me O1E, and then I graduate as an O3E. That's whatever.
You need to carry pus there.
But my only experience with the Hitman game series was whenever we were kids. My cousins and my stepdad's side of the family, they were pro wrestlers, and we grew up in like the Jack whatever like media panic about violent video games. And he was telling everybody that, first he told everybody that Grand Theft Auto Vice City was the most realistic murder simulator that's ever been constructed. And so my older cousin grabbed a fire axe inside... he grabbed a fire axe inside the airport, and then he just like raised it over his head, and then just dropped it onto someone else's head. And then like somebody else went to investigate, and so he dropped the fire axe on their head. And he just kept doing this for like 20 straight minutes. He just kept dropping the fire axe onto the heads of anybody investigating the growing pile of dead bodies. And it's like he did it as a point against the news media and how stupid that they were being. It's like, even at the time, everybody knows how fucking dumb this shit is. And then my younger cousin, whenever the news media said that Vice City was the most violent video game, or the most realistic video game ever made, what he ended up doing was he grabbed... First he went and he beat an officer to death with his bare hands as Tommy Vercetti, which is not exactly... Tommy Vercetti is not exactly like a macho man. But then he took that officer's guns and nightstick. How did I lure the guy out last time? That's ridiculous. And then he just like took out the rest of the police department with guns and a nightstick. And then he kept like getting more and more wanted stars, so he hid under a bridge, which is where the police helicopters can't get you. And he just kept this up for like an hour with his dad watching. His dad had just got done watching the news, and now he's watching his son do this shit. It's like even at the time, everybody knew that the media was absolutely full of shit from top to bottom. Ugh. I don't play a lot of games, I don't do a lot of things. I'm an old farm boy, you know? We've got shit to do. But even by my family's standards, my media diet is incredibly poor. They were like, you know, have you seen Sons of Anarchy? I'll be like, never heard of it. Like, oh, have you seen Prison Break? And they're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like, is it a movie? Is it a game? Is it a... No, it's something else. I've seen it. I'm probably not going to buy... It's not like I have a choice, but I'm probably not going to buy another game for a very long time. I was working my way through all of my PlayStation 2 games until I borrowed this hotspot and figured that I could start streaming. Well, hopefully he'll look away and I can crawl backwards, but if I move now, he's definitely going to be able to see me. So yeah, I'm probably not going to buy time. And Hitman would be a new game. And it's also so like Super Bunny Hop on YouTube. He also recommends Hitman. He really likes, he's a really big fan of Hitman. Well, now everybody is trying to teach each other how to emulate shit on 3DS because apparently it's very easy to hack. And all because Nintendo's taking down the eShops of everything in fucking existence right now. For no reason, as usual. Games preservation. Nobody's preserving any fucking games. Where's the... Okay, so... The guys in the car... They're already gone. I'm gonna have to dodge around this chuckle nuts up here with the spotlight. Yokai Watch might be Pokemon, but better. But people have accused the Persona series of being Pokemon, but better for a very long time. But then, whenever you look it up, it turns out that Persona came first. Who's copying who? one of my big mistakes with the post 9/11 GI Bill, with all of my different veteran benefits and everything, one of my huge mistakes was living as a person whenever I should have been living as a college student. If I was living as a college student, like eating ramen and shit, then I wouldn't have ran out of post 9/11 GI Bill. That money would have stretched. But instead, I decided to try to live like a human, and that's not what you're supposed to do in college. You're supposed to live like a fucking gremlin, eat nothing but ramen noodles, and not enjoy your life. Those are the steps to success. Wow. What the hell is going on? What are they rushing around for? Did I get spotted? No, I didn't. What are you rushing around for? Well, now I got spotted. What the fuck? It reminds me of two things. One is a friend of mine. Whenever I was in high school, I had a friend of mine that was like the top something. He was like the top 10, top 20, something stupid like that in he was the top something in Guitar Hero. So it reminds me of that and how big of an accomplishment that is, going against people on a worldwide scale. But it simultaneously reminds me of the South Park episode about the same thing. It's like you do so much just to, like, in reality, it's like you're really good at a game. Congratulations, you're a fucking loser. You know? And things are better now, like with streamers being able to make shitloads of cash and a bunch of other bullshit here, there, and everywhere. Like, it is a little bit. That's probably what was going on. This guy probably got on the old horn, got on the radio, and put everybody in a panic earlier. I might be able to cover this distance. Nope. Fantastic. That's essentially how it is for Persona, because Persona is part of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and so like they'll just what the fuck? They'll recklessly take like deities from other religions and just throw them in the game. Whatever. It's like a public access or whatever. It's like nobody has any rights to it. So, I mean, in Persona 5, the main bad guy for the true ending, spoilers, is Yaldabaoth. You know, the Christian demiurge, the thing that created the world and everything in it. The reason why the Bible begins twice. like I said, nowadays, with streamers and whatnot, like now, South Park has less of a point than whenever they made that episode. Whenever they made that episode, it really was just like, you know, you get really good at the fake guitar game and just find out that you're a fucking loser. But nowadays, getting really good at anything, being able to perform speed runs of stuff, all of the above, like that'll grant you sponsorships. That'll grant you sponsorships from like fucking Disney. Like, you'll be a star. And it's like Charlie Moist Critical always says, he's like, it's actually remarkably easy to become a streamer. And like, and with everything with sustainability and ecological building and stuff like that, it's even easier than it's ever been before. Yeah, that's complete horseshit. The real skill that you forgot that could have made you world famous was your skill at fucking Little Caesars. Being able to make pizza in seconds, that's the kind of stuff that could have made you a YouTube legend back in the day. People would have called you Pizza Boy. They would have had compilations of you making Little Caesars pizzas hyper fast, and then like, you know, and they would put like the Spider-Man Pizza Time music over it. Like, that could have been your life. You could have gotten like a real girlfriend instead of a wife and kids. Ew. Fucking gross. I think like everybody that worked at Little Caesars had at least one person there that had asbestos hands who could just fucking grab pizza straight out of the ovens. Like, no nerves in their hands whatsoever. No heat sensors.
This is Morpho, arriving shortly at LZ.
That was back in the day. That was back in the day whenever Little Caesars would cut their pieces into fucking 10 pieces. They would make that really odd fucking pattern. I don't know. I worked there for like 3 months or something like that. It was really super part-time. It was my first ever job. And I mainly washed dishes. Even back then, like, I don't know, farm boys, we're built different, okay? So, like, even back then, people would be, like, bitching about their job and trying to take a smoke break every 10 seconds, and I would, like, wash dishes for 3 straight hours, doing math in my head.
We have to get Chico out.
Your personality type, Warber. It's called hyperfixation, and it's a side effect of attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's a disorder in your brain that can be fixed with medication, therapy.
Hurry, you've got to get out of there.
Please select a landing zone.
This is Morpho.
Like, if you can fix a personality thing, then it's not a fucking personality thing. You can go get a SPECT scan. They inject radioactive sugar into your blood, and then your brain uses the radioactive sugar, and that radiation shows up on a SPECT scan. You were totally not. I found out a couple months ago, I think it was in February, because my aunt was down doing taxes, that like both of her kids are autistic. They're very mildly autistic, but I just thought that they were homeschooled. I thought they were weirdos because they were homeschooled, and they are weirdos, and they'll be the fucking first to admit it. But I just thought they were weird because they were homeschooled, but no. Like, it was like they were just mildly autistic. Yeah, I know. I had a lady with Asperger's in like my middle school or some shit like that. But you know, it explains a lot of things. It explains the fact that they both had to be homeschooled. It explains the fact that one of them graduated high school at fucking 14. And like started college at like 17 or some shit like that. So I asked my buddy about this. I had a former buddy who was just like Mr. Warber here. They both grew up in Germany. They both had a penchant for killing and, you know, chopping up small pieces of hookers. You know, they were basically the same person. They were just like, you know, a couple of years apart, and eating them and keeping small pieces of them under their mattress. So it's weird to have like two people like that. It's the Germany thing, not the hookers thing. I get, like, who doesn't do that? Anyways, but yeah, my other friend, he had a brother that needed a lot of care, and he was autistic. And I was like, how does he respond to like the internet and people constantly just like using that as an insult? And he was like, it doesn't bother him. After a while, it's like anything else. After a while, the insult stops, like it loses its power over you. He's like, but he does like Minecraft. And I was like, oh, fucking. There's actually very few people who don't like Minecraft. No, I don't. But, Warber, whenever you go to doctors, they'll tell you what tests that you need to take. That's what they do. And whenever they have 7 days to watch you 24/7, and there's over 100 personnel watching you and dissecting your every mood and every little action, like that whole thing, that causes an accurate diagnosis, a much more accurate diagnosis. Now, I'm not gonna take a test for fun. I'd rather take a test to see which fucking, you know, Ninja Turtle I am or whatever. Which Backstreet Boy would be your best boyfriend? That's the type of test that I really want to sink my time and energy into. So, which One Direction band member would be my best bae? That's what I want to spend my time reading into. Those are the types of tests that truly capture all of my attention. I hope the chat is archived, or else people who watch this video in the future are going to be very confused about everything that's going on. But I did just do stealth, no kills, no weapons. I don't know who Louis Rossman is. But because he knows you, that means automatically I don't like him. Anyways, man, I gotta take my grandfather to the hospital in Springfield at 5 in the morning. So that's something that I gotta do. So that's Monday. So that means I gotta hit the sack. I don't even have time to take a shower and make myself beautiful for the plasma donation that I have to do tomorrow. Which, you know, with all the phlebotomists that work at the plasma donation place, they're all very young. Some of them are very attractive, you know. So whenever I walk in there, it's important for me to look my best, so they can say, "Ew, that's a 35-year-old man." I'm not gonna go anywhere near that fucking creepy bald loser. And that's super important for me to come across and be as gorgeous as I can. I don't even have time to do that. But yeah, I'll talk to you next time. See ya.